Welcome to Mindset Mastery. Today is the very first day, so I just wanted to welcome you, and I'm so excited to have with us Walter. Walter is a self-made millionaire, but obviously didn't always start off a millionaire. And about for 10 years, he really struggled with a series of failed business adventures while working for corporate, and after a tragic divorce, left him really broke and unhappy. But what changed his life forever was a mentor who told him to study the strategies of mindsets of people who are already wealthy and successful and what they had in common. Since then, Galter has been obsessed with personal development and has had multiple successful businesses teaching his strategies and is on a mission to make 100 millionaires. So welcome, Galter. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Eureka. It is working with you today. And it turns out the secret to becoming a millionaire really is mindset. So what you're doing for people is absolutely amazing, sharing the gifts that you've discovered over all this time. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. So don't worry, guys. This is not necessarily like, oh, a money, like we're going to make you a millionaire. But later on this year, I'm going to have a series on money mindset. But today we're going to really focus on the mindset of successful people. And so, Walter, my very first question to you is, what is the most common thing that wealthy, successful people have in common?
I like that question, Eureka. And let me qualify like why I can teach this, right? I've read over 300 books. I've traveled the country. I've built multi-million dollar businesses. I've studied under the smartest, richest, most successful people in life and in wealth and health. And I've discovered it comes down to one thing. There's only one thing that all of these people have in common. And I hope you're on the edge of your seat because it's the most special thing, but it's the thing that most people forget. It's stick-to-itiveness. And that's a real word. You can look it up in the dictionary. Stick-to-itiveness. And what the definition is someone who sees something, the concept or perception of something, and does not let go no matter what. They see their dream. You see your dream, you look at it, you know you want it, and you know no matter what happens, you're going to have it. You're going to grasp this at some point. Even if in the beginning you're just laughing at yourself saying, this is a crazy dream, I don't know if it's possible for me, but you're thinking about it. You're saying it's possible for me. Even if you're saying, I don't know, you're saying it's possible for me. Maybe I could. And I'm going to aim at it no matter what. And just, if it doesn't work out this year, maybe it's next year. But be flexible in the goal, be flexible, not the goal, but flexible on how you get there, but unrelenting in the fact that you're going there. Stick-to-itiveness, if I could put it in one word.
Yeah, this totally reminds me of a lesson that I learned in the last year about failure. And one of my coaches had said, you know, her goal is to fail like 15 times in her business, and not fail and you give up, but it's like fail and you have the mentality of like, that didn't work. So what do I need to shift to then make it successful? Right. So it almost like for me, it changed my relationship with failure, and that reminds me of what you're saying, stick to itiveness, because like when I commit to one goal, that is possible, right? And then even though I fail in the process, the most important thing is that I don't give up. And to me, failure means you actually fail when you give up.
That's right. There's no failure. It's just like when you lose money in real estate, it's not on the record until you sell the property. As long as you hold it long enough, you're still winning. And success in general it's so personal. It's so relative in your life. If you want to be a nurse and you end up being a nurse, like you've won the life game. If you want to teach children in school and you get to teach children in school, like you've won life. Like you are a success, you know. But if you want to live a long life and have a great, beautiful family around you that supports you and loves you and feel like you really left a great legacy for yourself with your principles and your ethics, then you've won, right? You've won the life game. You're successful. So success is relative to everyone, but there's a simple path. You got to stick to it. You got to decide this is how you want to be, even if you're not there yet. Like this is the person I want to be, and this is how I want to be remembered. And commit to yourself and commit to the people you want to be remembered by.
Yeah, and that actually kind of reminds me of success obviously means different things to different people. And I know a lot of times when I work with my clients, they're like, it almost ties to purpose, right? They're always like searching, like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And purpose itself feels so heavy. So I would challenge this audience who are watching, like, define and write down, like, what does success actually mean to you, right? And get super clear about what it means,
I
because
like that.
then you have the vision.
And with
And then,
vision, you're unstoppable. Clarity is power. I love
mhm,
it. Great exercise. Do you do that all the time, Eureka? You got exercises for your students, for your people?
I try, because it's one thing, like, I read a ton of books, but if you don't actually apply at least one or two concepts from every book that you read, it's not going to change your life. So that's why, in this series, it's really about clarity, confidence, and action, and they're all tied together, because if you don't take action, you're not going to get the confidence. Just because you get clarity, that doesn't mean you're going to get the confidence. It's through action that you get the confidence. But first, before
Yes.
you get there, you have to be super clear, right? So definitely, that's something that I work with clients a lot. And as a coach, asking very specific questions, because when you, like, even if you think about New Year's resolutions, a lot of people just say, like, oh, well, I want to, like, I just want to be healthier. Like, what does that mean exactly? Like, when, by when, like, what is the weight goal? What is the, like, body fat percentage? Like, let's get super clear. Then you can, you know, be healthy, whatever that means to you. But a lot of times people fail in their New Year's resolutions, or they give up because they're not clear. So that's something, I think clarity is one of the first things that you have to like put some work into.
Sentence, you dropped so many great pieces of advice. Clarity is, gotta take action. Going back to the previous comment that you made about, failing is good, like failing is a learning lesson. Taking action, the faster you take action,
Mhm.
the faster you know if you're in the right direction or not. Like, just go do something
Yeah.
and you'll know if you're moving in the right direction or the wrong direction. Then you can quickly pivot and adjust to where you want to be, because you're taking action, because you're not afraid of failure. Failure is just a learning lesson. It's like, oh my God, like I failed. Thank God I figured it out now. Anytime I've ever failed, I always in my head see myself as a way bigger person with way more love in my life, with way more money and businesses and business partners. And I'm always thinking, thank God it's like only now, like all these people love me. And like, this isn't the 10 times bigger audience that it would be, right? Like all these people already accept me, love me the way I am. Like, okay, cool. I made a mistake. But like, think it wasn't when there was 100,000 more people right out there looking and paying attention to this. So
Yeah.
like everything is a learning lesson. Like your audience is not as big as it will, not as big as it will be. Your love with your spouse is not as big as it will be. So it's like, thank God it's in the beginning. Like everything's forgivable right now.
Yeah, and like, the most successful, like, all stars, I'm thinking of, like, Michael Jordan, right? Like, does he still have, like, the most, he's the most, what, sorry, I'm totally not a sports fan, but he made the most, like, shots or whatever, but he also had, like, the most missed percent. Man, I'm totally butchering this. Let's talk about Babe Ruth, right? Oh, God, another sports analogy, but he
Well, I
had,
don't know
like, the
sports,
most.
but I know that both these guys are really good at what they do.
But Babe Ruth, like, has the most home runs, but he also has the most strikeouts. So,
Yeah.
but if he struck out and he's like, oh man, I failed, I'm such a loser, I suck, then he would have never made that record, is my point.
I like that. When I was a real estate agent, and like any salesperson can grasp, I had the most closings in my company. I also had most no's in my company. That every time I'd walk into a house, it was like 80% of the time being told no. So on to the next house. I won with volume. I just had that stick to itiveness of I'm financial goal, even if I'm not a good salesperson.
Mhm. I'm sure you're a good salesperson, but
I am now.
um,
I learned how.
yeah, I was thinking about, like, the word that comes to mind is, like, resilience. You keep failing, but you have that resilience to keep moving forward. And I
Yeah.
wanted to speak and touch upon that a little bit, because I'm wondering if you think resilience is something that can be cultivated, and if so, how, or is it something that's kind of more innate, or what are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Oh, that's powerful. I think everything is cultivated. Everything can be. We don't all get the start in life, for sure. And my story is no different from anybody. Like I started with nothing, bad mindset, my family was, all good people, and I still, I love them, and I learned a lot from them. Not all the things that somebody would look at as a learning lesson. I looked at that as like, in the moment, it was when I was suicidal as a child, and as an adult, I look back and I think, wow, thank God I went through that early, right? Because if I was going through like the things that are happening to me now, like I wouldn't be as resilient, like that word you used. I wouldn't have that steel mentality of I can get through this, it's going to be fine. So it's cultivated, it really is. And I could have ended my life times when I was younger, but fortunately there was always somebody who'd reach out to me and keep me here, and give me a reason to keep going. And I think that, one, if you're listening and you could be that person for somebody, be that person. Choose to be that person every day. You never know what somebody else is going through. And two, if you can cultivate the belief, the understanding, just one day, that tomorrow could be a better day, tomorrow could be an amazing day. And if you show up for tomorrow, it's just reading a book. Like, I read every book knowing that on the next page could be my $1 million idea. On the next page could be that secret sentence that I say to somebody who's going to make their day better. When you're coaching with somebody, like, who knows, if you learn something from a conversation with somebody, you can use that the rest of your business, the rest of your life, and that improves somebody's life every single time. Like, I know those words, like I want to know those sentences, and I want to know those philosophies that really improve life. So tomorrow is an amazing day. It every day you wake up, it's like, oh man, like round two, let's go. that was life number one. Life number two is going to be amazing, right? Even if it was amazing, it can be better.
Yeah. Yeah, what would you suggest, like somebody who may be on the lower resilience spectrum, what they could start to, maybe something simple and tangible that they can shift to increase their resilience?
I like that. So I've heard people say, make your bed, right? Make your bed in the morning, because then you feel like a champion. I still don't make my bed in the morning. Like, that's like, hear that advice and I'm like, oh my God, I wish somebody would teach something like usable, like something tangible. And what I found is, if you wake up in the morning and you're breathing, that's a win, right? Just look at yourself as a winner. Look at yourself as somebody who fights. Every moment your lungs have to go and push for air. They're doing something very impressive, something amazing, where if you think about it, you can control your breath. So think about how much work they're doing every day. You're a winner, right? Every day you can control your breath, and your lungs keep breathing, and you can take a deep breath in. And deep breath in is just a reminder that you control your life. If you control this body, you control everything. And if something comes at you, just breathe. If something, becomes disorienting, or, brings you posture, he talks about breathing all the time. Look up, smile, and breathe. And you'll find that you have the resilience within you. You have the strength. And then once you start that practice, that exercise every day, you wake up, anytime you that deep breath, that gives you a tighter sense of control, a tighter sense of your reality. And as you gain that sense of control and reality, you start realizing that there's nothing you can't do. Like, there really is. If you can control this complex machine that most people are not thinking about, most people are not understanding, most people just breathe shallowly their entire lives. But if you are the person who grab yourself a deep breath at least once a day, or twice a day, or 3 times a day, you're somebody who has now control of your life, which means you have the ability to be here no matter what. They can't take that away from you. They can't take the control of your lungs away. And if they do, you're not worried about anything else anyway. You've moved on to the greener pastures.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you bring it back to breath because, obviously mindfulness is a huge part of my life, and, meditation. And yeah, I also love that you said, like, like look upwards and take a deep breath. I feel like sometimes I do that naturally, especially when the sun is shining. I'll just like look towards the sun and just be so grateful for the sun and the air and my lungs. Now I'm gonna say thank you to my lungs.
These things are amazing. Like, the body is like nuts. Like, what it does while we're thinking about other stuff. We got AI, right? We got this artificial, well, it's real intelligence, but it's just running in the back of our minds, either helping us or hurting us.
Mm, mhm.
That's our choice. We decide what it's going to be doing to us.
Yeah, love that, love that. I know we've only talked a couple times in the past, since we've known each other, but one thing that really stands out about you, Walter, is just like your positivity. Every single time I talk to you, you're just beaming with so much positivity and light and energy. And like my question to you is what fuels your positivity? Like, are you always like this? Because you're always like this when we talk. And I'm just like wondering, like, yeah, what fuels your your positivity?
I like that. So I've been on the other side of it. The positivity, it really is. Yes. And by the way, to answer that, yes, I'm like this all the time. In fact, I slept 4 hours today and my friend woke up, I think at 8 o'clock. I was already awake, right? I just didn't go to sleep yet. My sleeping time was from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock. And I only woke up because we had this. So like crushing, I was living life. I had friends sleep over. We did a training yesterday. And then at night I was working on my business and I kept going because it was just, I felt like I was making progress. There's life-changing thing. I just put a website up. I'm raising capital next week for one of our projects. And I had this excitement all night long. And when she woke up in the morning, she's like, Walter, did you go to bed last night? I said, yes, I did. I went in there for about 30 minutes. I laid next to you so I can say that I laid next to you. And then I kissed you on the forehead and I came back to work. And I was amped up. Talking to her, I talked to her and her friends the whole morning. We had a blast. I gave some, advice, and like, yeah, I'm like this every day. And the secret to it, that where the juice comes from, is I absolutely in love with who I am, what I'm doing, who I'm surrounded with, my mission. We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires in 2021, and that is when you talk about setting crazy goals. Last year I built 12, but the year before I built none.
Mm,
Know that whatever I set my mind to, I can do. But knowing and having put it out that I'm building millionaires for, quite a while now, over a year, it's I've got a lot of people saying, "Hey, can I do it? Am I one of them? Could I be one of your millionaires?" Like, I don't know. Like, could I? Absolutely. Could I be somebody that you touch with your knowledge? I can't sleep. Like I can't be anything but happy. I'm blessed. I'm in the most amazing position in life to give back. I don't have children at the age I'm at right now. I'm 35 and next week. And I look at the world as, before I have children, I've got to save a few people. I've got to set a few people on the right path, because I don't want the distraction to take me away from what I'm doing. And I realize that that's a limiting belief as I say it. And so I will make sure I'm helping even more people going forward. But before I had kids, I just, it was really important to me to give back before I did something like that. And I made that commitment when I went through my divorce, that I was going to make the world a better place. I wasn't gonna have kids until I figured out my mindset. I wasn't going to have kids until I figured out money, and until I'd given back, because I wasn't living for myself anymore. I made that decision that if I was living for me, I was done. There was no more reason for me to stay and do this. But if I could live to help other people figure this life thing out, this success thing out, then I would stay. Like, then I'd be here, and I would have to commit to that. Like, nothing would stop me. So that it fuels me. There's an intensity behind knowing that there's people who need your help. There's people who want you to show up. And I set accountability calls. So every Saturday, I have a call at 10 a.m. where I teach the 52 wealth principles, and my community requires it. They've gotten to the point where they're like, I don't know what wealth principle 52 is going to be. Like, I need him to show up. If he doesn't show up, then, do the wealth principles work in COVID, right? Is this something that works in COVID? Walter needs to show up and show me that these wealth principles still work, how the world has changed, but the principles have not. So it's exciting to me, every day, every moment. There's somebody texting me, somebody messaging me, there's something, a video to post, or some of my life asking a question, meet somebody. And you don't have the choice. Like, when you understand the power of your mind, you don't have the choice to give anybody bad attitude. You don't have the choice not to smile, right? It's unethical to pass anything but a smile to somebody, or a positive thought, or a positive phrase. And so, like, when you have that knowledge, it's unconscionable. Like, you don't have a decision to make. It's just, be a decent human being, like, be the best person you can be. So when I'm around another person, boom, it just, and I use hypnosis. I think we were talking about that earlier.
yeah.
A lot of hypnosis. I'm a licensed hypnotist, and I've paid my good friends like Doug McGurk to hypnotize me. But I also create my own scripts, and I use my own scripts at night. I'll I'll play them things that are positive. I love helping people. I attract lots of money. I am successful. Failure is a learning process. I surround myself with the most amazing people. I want to see people do well, right? Like those things just go through my head over and over while I'm sleeping. And I wake up like, wow, let's kill it. Let's crush it. The world is ready. Long
Wow.
answer. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I love that. And what I'm actually hearing underneath all of this, you're so driven by passion and purpose. And, because of your past experiences, you've transformed your pain to purpose, as Tony Robbins says a lot, and are now helping the world. And I love that. Thanks for sharing that. So, I guess my last question to you is if there is one thing that you would want this audience to walk away with after listening to this interview, maybe like either a tangible step or something that they can incorporate. I know we talked a little bit about like, taking breaths, but is there anything else that you would recommend?
Absolutely. I think that the power of visualization is misunderstood in society. Everybody's heard vision boards, everybody's heard law of attraction, but it is misunderstood. It is 100% not appreciated for the value and the power that it actually has. And so I would say, and I learned this from Rod Cleef, one of my mentors, and he said it yesterday to me, and I think it's powerful. Write down the words as if, the words as if, and in everything that you want to be in your life, act as if. Act as if it's already yours. Act as if you're already that person. Act as if you already have the life and the mindset and the things that you want in your life. Act as if they're yours. Act as if that business is yours, that lover is yours. Act as if that body is yours. And I would write down the words, act as if, because if you do it long enough, you won't be acting anymore. Because that was his answer to how do you gain confidence? How do you
Mm,
gain confidence to do the big things that we do? How do you give confidence to get on stage and teach people? How do you gain confidence to, even consider making $1 million? How do you get confidence to, ask that person out or tell that person how you feel? That comes from acting as if the conversation already went well, acting as if there's already people who believe in you, acting as if you couldn't fail. Just imagine if you couldn't fail, what would you do? Just act
mm,
as if you couldn't. And the option for failure really diminishes if you're acting as if you can only succeed.
mm. Powerful. Thanks for that. Um, Walter, do you want to talk a little bit about your free gift that you're offering this audience?
Yes, absolutely. So I wrote a book. I wrote a series of books, and I'm offering both of them for free for this audience. So if you go to walteramarillo.com, go over to free resources. I wrote the book, Broke to $250,000. The point is not to work, it's to generate income. And because my audience is heavy in real estate, I wrote the book, Real Estate Alchemist, Get the Deal. It's the underground playbook for finding motivated sellers. People want to sell you their houses at a discount. Now you can go to Amazon and buy both of them for $25, or you can go to my website and get PDF, the ebook, for free. All I ask in return is that I get your email address and your permission to teach you something you may not know. And even though the real estate book is about real estate, I'll give you the secret that I don't tell my audience, because if I said it was mindset, they wouldn't open it. But the secret is that more than half of the book, the beginning and the end, you can skip the middle part, the real estate part, but if you read the first three chapters, 6 chapters, it's all mindset. How do you gain more time? How do you get more quality of life is what the entire book is about. I just had to slam in 6 chapters of real estate because they wanted to. But the secret to real estate success, like any success, it's up here. So go to walteramarillo.com, free gift. Thanks to Eureka. Eureka said, what are you going to give away? And I said, well, everybody else is giving one. I'm giving two.
Yeah, so that link, Walter's website link, is underneath this video, and so just go ahead and click there. Love that.
Eureka, is it okay if I give one more thing away?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we normally charge $5,000 for this. I have a coaching program that I do every single week. It's a 52-week process. The 52 weeks to wealth is what we call it. And it's all mindset. It's all about business and building your wealth and increasing your income. If you go to waltermorello.com/live, then you can live with us on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, 7 a.m. I know on the West Coast, 7 a.m. But my students show up in LA and in San Diego. They show up. So because it's powerful. It's each week we go through a different principle. There's 52 wealth principles, and we go through each one at a time that you can implement in your relationships, in your health, and in your wealth. And I'll offer that for free. That's something I'll do for this audience. That link is something I only give when somebody impresses me. And I know this is what I've learned, Eureka. You ready? The audience mimics the leader, and I like you. And so, since you are a good person, you smile, you ask good questions, your audience is the same way. Like attracts like.
Thank you. Wow, that is super, super generous. I really wish it wasn't at 7 a.m. my time, or else I'd be there every Saturday.
I record it, don't you worry.
Okay, I recorded. Okay, I'm gonna hit you up on that.
Yeah, I record it. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Facebook. I make sure that this content goes out to anybody who wants it. It really is.
Thank you. Super generous of you. Awesome. Well, Walter, thanks so much for your time. Um, I really, really appreciate you. And I'm so grateful that we have connected in this way. And we will definitely stay in touch for future conversations. And for the rest of this audience, I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.